Everyone can see.
Please join me in welcoming Amulya Shankar.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today, just as I was hearing Salim speak, it occurred to me that this story falls under the classification of it being an epic classic. Now, how does one describe what an epic classic is? You see, an epic classic is something that provides meaning over a period of time. It is something that has stood the test of time. It is something that is relevant across so many different cultures, families, societies. It is something that provides us a multitude of meanings, and that is exactly what the EisJ2012 has done. Ladies and gentlemen, cultures are built on stories, values, and on rituals. The stories that each one of you hear in your formative years or during your childhood days will unconsciously or consciously shape your values, beliefs, or behaviors. The Eye of the Fish is just one story from a collection of hundreds of thousands that are available from the rich cultural history of India. It depends upon the stories you were told. I first heard this story when I was 5, and my grandmother told it to me. At that time, consciously speaking, it was a nice story. Only when I decided to make this the topic of my TEDx speech did I realize that my unconscious mind had already interpreted, stored, sorted, and dictated my values, beliefs, and behaviors. People come and ask me, Amulya, what have you actualized from the Eye of the Fish? What are your learnings from it? While there are so many different interpretations, the learnings that I have derived are: number 1, focus and finish. Number 2, controlling your awareness and attention. Number 3, depth versus width. 4, the fallacy of multitasking. And the last one, less is more. Number 1, focus and finish. Ladies and gentlemen, we have so many things to do on a certain day. And it's quite normal to think about task B while doing task A. But it's not very useful. The quality of your output is affected because you are not giving your 100%, ladies and gentlemen. That is why, essentially, focus and finish the task in hand makes your work redundant of silly mistakes and makes it joyful, quick and easy. Number 2, controlling your awareness and attention. I'm a bit embarrassed to admit it, but when my parents used to tell me that they would be watching my game of tennis from the spectator stand, I used to get a bit nervous, but now no more. When I play my game of tennis, my awareness is limited within the perimeter of the tennis court, not to where my parents are sitting, and my attention is directed singularly towards my opponent. Number 3, depth versus width. Ladies and gentlemen, I had the opportunity to attend a seminar held in my school on the application to Ivy League colleges. When I was sitting in your place in the audience and listening to the guest speaker, I noticed he said something more than once. He stressed upon something. He said when you're applying to a university, they don't really care if you give them a laundry list of activities that you are interested in. They just want to know the 2 or 3 that you are engaged in. Ladies and gentlemen, is depth, not width, when it comes to mastering a skill or honing an activity. Number 4, the fallacy of multitasking. Recent research has shown us that the brain cannot handle more than 7 ± 2 pieces of information. It is not without reason that we're not allowed to use our mobile phones while driving. That is why on a certain day, I take time out separately for language and for literature. You may be sitting there thinking, why? They're both English. But when you take time out separately, you realize that you can critically appreciate the values of both. And I come to my last learning, less is more. When each one of you sitting in this audience is able to realize what they want to achieve in life, what the dreams they want to accomplish, you realize that amongst the many things you consider important, most of them are actually useless and have no direct bearing on what you need to achieve. Don't believe me? Look at the world's greatest scientists, mountaineers, sportsmen. They only use those muscles that are required for achieving that particular outcome. That is why, even after a hectic performance, no great sportsman is ever tired. That, to me, ladies and gentlemen, is elegant. All these learnings that I've described to you are from one story that can even be described as ancient, prehistoric. One story that is not just the story of India, but actually a story that is relevant across so many different societies, individuals, families. One story, ladies and gentlemen, that has stood the test of time. One story, the eye of the fish, a metaphor that I live by. I thank TEDx for giving me this wonderful opportunity to speak in front of such a wonderful audience, and I thank my friends and family that have helped me achieve where I am today. Thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen.